What's going on, New York Giants fan? Hit Squad back at it with another video, and we have the big blue topic today. As usual, I am joined by Giant Opinion Sports on my left and the big blue corner on my right. How you guys feeling today? We got quite a bit to talk about.
What's good? What's good, man? Everybody doing good. Everybody doing good. They just waiting for Sunday
Yeah,
against these Packers. So can't complain, man. I'm doing good.
Yeah,
awesome, man,
I can't
awesome.
complain either. Giants are going to keep it going, or it's a get right game for Aaron Rodgers. We'll see.
Yeah, no, most def, man. I mean, I'm really excited. We got, again, quite a bit to talk about today. You guys can find Giant Opinion Sports and the Big Blue Corners YouTubes as well as their Twitters in the description box below. Also, do not forget to join the Hit Squad. Leave a like as well as your thoughts on this video below. So, with news coming out today on Daniel Jones looking to get the nod, per Ryan Dunleavy. I think that completely, in my opinion at least, and I definitely want to get your guys' thoughts. I think that changes how I view this game this weekend. Um, I thought with Davis Webb, we would see a lot of run, which I think we still will. But Davis Webb isn't as mobile. I don't think he has the arm that Daniel Jones is have. But coming off of what appears to be a high ankle sprain, I mean, I know a lot of Giants fans, including myself, were a little bit worried to see how he was gonna do. But it's looking like he may get the nod. And one thing we can't do is question this guy's toughness. But Giant Opinion Sports, man. I mean, if the Giants feel that Daniel Jones can play in this game and he gets this start, I mean, are you for this? Are you against this? Maybe in terms of his long-term health. I mean, how are you feeling about this?
Well, I kind of had a sneaking suspicion that he was going to play this game just by you saw him running on the sideline, and I really think he would have went right back in the game, but Dable kind of just put the clamps on it. So I'm okay with it as long as he can still move. As long as he's still got that mobility. I saw an interview he did today, and he said that he feels like he can move in the pocket and he can roll out and make throws. So
Yeah.
you know, I don't I didn't think for a second really he was gonna sit down. Hey, he's had these high ankle sprains so many times. Maybe that ligament's just stretched out to where
Yeah, that's
you
true.
know it's not an issue anymore with him.
Yeah, no, and I think, this is something that I know a lot of people, we're trying to see, okay, can he take that next step forward? Can he be this franchise guy going into this season? But I also think we have to look at, his injury history. I mean, it's no surprise that again he is dealing with another injury in another season, in my opinion. And I mean, I'm not saying, this is anything that fans should overreact to whatsoever. But if he gets the nod to play, I'm not against it. As long as he feels that he can play. I don't want him to feel that, he has to play this one game and then God forbid something happens and he's dealing with a worse injury when he could have just sat out this week. But I have no issues with it personally. Big Blue Corner, man. I mean, how are you feeling about this news?
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I mean, he gives us a better opportunity, in my opinion, against the Packers. He's got a leg up, no pun intended, against, above Davis Webb. But based off of what we saw concerning Tua and everything that's going around the NFL with concussions, and even I will go to put, I'll go at a stretch and say, even with a lot of these injuries is concerned, they're going to start to take a lot more. They're going to start paying a lot more attention to everything that's going on with these players now. You're not going to try to put them in a predicament where, yeah, he can go, as we saw when in the game against Chicago, he wanted to get back in,
Yeah,
but props to Dable for like, look, you're out. You know, Tyrod Taylor came in and prayers up to him. Hopefully everything is good with him. But
definitely.
in my opinion, he gives us at least the best opportunity to beat the Packers right now. Nothing against Davis Webb, but I just think because of what Daniel Jones can do on the field, as far as moving in the pocket and actually utilizing his feet gives us a better chance. Davis Webb, I don't know if he can really move as well, but I don't think he can move better than Daniel Jones at this point.
Yeah,
Webb can move a little
definitely.
bit. He's like more of a scrambler though. But I've seen him run like 10, 15 yards down the field before.
I mean, I think what Jones brings in his athleticism. I mean, we saw it against Chicago. He still has those wheels. I mean, not a lot of people in this league, I feel, really respect the kind of wheels that Daniel Jones have. I mean, we've seen it through the years, especially last season. And it seems that this year, I mean, we're relying on those legs again. And don't get me wrong, I mean, we have the number one rushing attack in the league right now, which I love it. I've been seeing some Giants fans, especially on Twitter, getting upset that our identity at the moment is really running the ball. And I personally don't see what there is to be upset about. That's another conversation for another day. But I'm excited to see what Jones could do. I mean, if Webb is getting the start, I'm excited to see what he could do as well. I think that if some of our receivers who we'll be talking about as well, if they're getting the nod to players going into this game, I mean, that would help out Davis Webb a lot too. Considering the fact that Galladay is dealing with an MCL sprain and he's not only going to make the trip, but he's going to be missing some time. Um, so, if we could get some of these guys back healthy, regardless of who's at quarterback, you know, I think we'll be okay. Obviously, I got more trust in Daniel Jones than I do with Davis Webb. But, speaking of injuries, there's a lot of players that weren't spotted at practice today. Obviously, Tyrod Taylor dealing with the concussion, Kenny Galladay with the knee injury, Richie James is dealing with an ankle injury at the moment. Aziz Ojolari is dealing with the calf. We'll probably get an update on what's going on with him probably by tomorrow. Cordell Flott is dealing with a calf injury. Practice squad defensive lineman Henry Mondeau is dealing with an ankle. I will say one thing that I liked to see today was Julian Love was running sprints, which I know he got a concussion last week against Chicago. I mean, for me, I'm seeing this, he's going through the protocols. He looked pretty good. Same with Wandale Robinson and Kadarius Toney, Leonard Williams. They were doing individual drills. The team was practicing indoors today. And, these are going to be guys that, we need going down the stretch. And, especially Kadarius Toney and Wandale Robinson. Now, Wandale Robinson, he had spoken to a couple beat reporters, stating that he feels that he should be starting this Sunday. Now, obviously, we'll see by tomorrow how things go. However, if this kid gets to start, man, I mean, I think that's a difference maker in this offense
Definitely, by all means. I mean, look, as of right now, we don't really have much of anything as far as
at all.
a receiving core. Well, not receiving core, just a receiving game. Period. Our passing game, it leaves a lot to be desired for the simple fact we cannot get separation. We cannot. Outside of the tight ends with Bellinger and Tanner Hudson, and they're making plays, yes, but not extreme, extravagant plays, except for the Daniel Bellinger touchdown. I think it was Carolina, I believe it was.
Yes.
He scored that touchdown. Our receivers just can't get separation. You know, outside of Richie James, who pretty much is our best receiver, there's really nobody else. You know, Kenny Galladay, he's hurt. Now I will say this: he did play a very good game as far as what he was doing on the field. He made a lot of key blocks to help, spring a lot of runs. However, are we paying him $72 million to block?
Nope.
We're paying him, we're granted that's part of the game, but you're not just paying him $72 million to block. So, I'm still in the, I'm still have this idea of we're wasting $72 million right now. Like literally, we're wasting 72 million or whatever he's making this year, but his total contract. It's a waste at this point.
Yeah.
You know, David Sills, for everybody who was in, Sills Army, I just think that for whatever reason with him is probably the same thing with Slayton. They
Yeah.
need to concentrate first on catching that ball and then doing whatever else. Catch the ball. That's the thing. Catch the ball.
Oh,
We had a
excuse
lot
me.
of drop pass. No problem there. We got a lot of just a lot of drop passes for no reason whatsoever. You know, we can put a little bit on the offensive line. The pass blocking, again, leaves a lot to be desired, but the run blocking is there. I think if all those things come together, and let's see if they can come together in the Packers game with Wandale Robinson and hopefully maybe Tony. If those guys are healthy, then I think our this passing game will, literally take a big jump as far as production is concerned because those guys are quick, fast, and Tony is electric. And if you saw what he did in Dallas last year, the Packers going to have to really take into consideration if he's playing. You know what? We need to really focus on this kid. That'll open it up for a lot of others. Darius Slayton, David Sills, Richie James,
Yeah.
Our tight end group. It'll open up a lot. You know
No,
what I mean?
you're
So,
absolutely right. You're
but that's
right.
my take on that.
No, and the thing is that our receivers really outside of Richie James hasn't really been doing anything. I mean, you saw it last week, um, and it's. I know that our team right now is working with what we got. I mean, offensively, not in the best position, but we're winning games. And Saquon is putting this offense on his back, but at the same time, when you have Kadarius Toney, when you have Wandale Robinson, and especially if they're going to be on the field, I'm expecting the wide receiver room to take a step forward. If those two aren't on the field, I think that's something different. But if we have these two guys on the field, there's no reason why they shouldn't be getting the ball. There's no reason why Kadarius Toney, it. I think you have to take heavy note to where he is on the field. If you're gonna put him one on one, he's gonna take your corners ankles. If you're gonna put two on him, you're taking one person out of the box for Saquon. And I mean, I think that makes room for Darius Slayton. If Richie James gets the nod to play this week, I think that helps him. So I mean, you have a great point there, Rod. And that's been the story for this year is injuries, man. I mean, injuries are just stacking up week in and week out. I mean, we had so many injuries against Chicago, man.
Yeah. And what's nice if Wandale, I think Wandale coming back would make a huge, all difference in the world because you can throw him in the slot and kick Ricky James out, Richie James out wide, and he ran a sub 4.4, in his college pro day and all that. So he can fly beside the line too and get open over the top. I know that's not how we've been using him, but I really do. If you have Slayton, well, he can't catch, but at least Richie James can catch. But you can at least pull some people away from that underneath stuff when you got them two fast guys on the outside, which just kind of seems what Dable wants to do. He wants to scheme a lot of stuff to the middle, intermediate area of the field. So
Yeah.
Wandale would be a huge help. And about the Daniel Jones run the ball, since he came in the league, and we know he didn't run a whole lot his rookie year, fourth most rushing yards by a quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for the people complaining about running the football, just go look at the Eagles last year.
That's true.
That's not a bad blueprint to follow. They didn't have the weapons. We don't have the weapons. You do what you got to do to win. You create a winning culture in the locker room. You create an expectation, and also you don't got to go gamble on guys like Kenny Galladay,
That's
guys
true.
that you hope become something. Maybe Odell comes back next year. I don't even care about all that, but you get people want to come in when they see you winning and playing tough and competing in the playoffs. So it's just keep losing, and then people sitting here wanting a top pick for this and that. It hasn't been working. It's
Mm-hmm.
awfully funny though. It's like there's 5-6 teams every year that get a late pick, and they're in the playoffs every year, and they're still there. And it ain't like they got all pro quarterbacks there either. So
Yeah.
it's time to start winning around here. And if you got to run the ball to win, run it. I don't care.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. I mean, and I agree with you 100%. At the end of the day, I don't care if it's 30-10. if it's 7-3, whichever, 27-24. I just care if the Giants win. And I don't understand. Like it truly just baffles me, and I actually was saying this on NYG 22's channel yesterday. It drives me crazy where these fans are complaining that, we have a number one rushing attack. Like there aren't teams in the league that have heavy run games. You look at Cleveland, Nick Chubb. You look at Tennessee, Derrick Henry. I mean, there's teams in this league that have a heavy run attack and not the best passing attack. I mean, look, I'm not saying that the Giants are Cleveland. I'm not saying that they're Tennessee, but you could still win ball games running the ball. I know Giants fans want those, 300-yard passing games, 400-yard passing games, 5 touchdown games from the quarterback. But for me personally, as much as I want to see that too, don't get me wrong. If Daniel Jones is throwing for 180 yards, but we somehow won the game, I ain't gonna complain.
Right.
I might have my comments as to what I think
Mhm.
we could do better, but at the end of the day, we gotta win. I mean, I think a lot of Giants fans are taking for granted us being 3-1 right now. When you look at the last 5, 6 years of this organization, we haven't done much winning at all. And now we're winning and there's people complaining. Like
Like, that's all they know how to do, I think.
exactly. I
And
need y'all to like figure it out. I need you guys to get it together. I don't care about no. We're on the the fifth game of the year. We got 12 more games to go. I'm not worried about the draft next year. I'm not worried about what QBs are going to be where we're picking at, or oh, if we somehow squeeze into the playoffs, we're going to mess up our draft spot. I don't care about none of that. I would kill to go to the playoffs because we
right,
haven't sniffed a playoff since 2016.
Giants fans should know more than any other fan base. Just get in there. You got a shot once you're in there. Our last
Exactly.
Super Bowl teams had to go play 3 road games, and we weren't. They didn't have no crazy records, 9-7.
And
I mean,
let me add
once
to
you're in
this.
there, you never know. You get hot at the right time. Say you get in the playoffs and all of a sudden Jones is running like how he's running. You get receivers start to come back healthy, get a little bit of a passing attack. Saquon Barkley's still going nuts. And the defense is top five. You don't know. That's a formula to win when it gets cold.
I was just about to say that. When you think about playoff ball, right? What are two things that are crucial? The running
Running game
attack
and defense.
and defense. What are the Giants doing right now very well? They're running the ball, and defensively, I mean, we're looking stout. And I understand, right now Leonard Williams isn't on the defensive line dealing with that injury. Kayvon and Aziz, they're in their second game playing with each other. But this defense is going to get better. They're going to get better. And at the end of the day, I just want to see this team progress. I want to see this team,
Right.
figure out ways to win because we've had way too many years of figuring out ways to lose. So, it baffles me. It really does. And I just don't understand. And I don't think people realize that even if the Giants were picking later in the draft, if there's someone that they want, rest assured, they will find a way to go get that person. It may not
I
be with
mean,
how you agree, but they can find ways to go get the person that they want. So, I know that was a little bit of a rant, but it just drives me a little insane, some of these fans because it just doesn't make sense. You complain when they lose and now you're complaining when they win. Like I need you to pick something. Like please. Like it just
hey,
doesn't make sense to me, man.
I'm gonna say this real quick, and I'm gonna kind of piggyback on your rant because you know what, I was gonna say something about it too. Just like Saquon said, you ain't rolling, stay over there.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Stay over there. I don't know if you guys caught what was it, the Monday night game? No, yeah, I think it was the Monday night game, Tampa Bay and Kansas City.
Yes, I
And
did. I did.
you there was one play in particular where, Mahomes, he was running out of the pocket, running to the sideline, and he duked out a guy or spun out of a tackle, and then he just chucked it real quick for a touchdown.
Hmm. Magical.
This, exactly magical. It's like nobody's ever done that before. this fan base has this idea that that's what we need. You need that Patrick Mahomes flashy type QB. Shout out to
Yep.
Big Pat with Big Pat Sports Show because he actually brought this up. He did a video about it, and I commented on it and I said they want the flashy 300 plus yard, 5 touchdown games, just as you said, because that's, I guess, in their mindset, that's what describes an elite franchise QB. Well, let me put it to you like this. Right now, Daniel Jones is not playing like he's an elite QB. Daniel Jones is playing as at either average or above average QB.
He is.
He is not hurting the team. He's actually benefiting the team because as of right now, he was responsible for 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Two. Nobody else scored in that game but Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to understand how you will sit there and literally belittle and hate on the guy when he literally, technically speaking, won us that game because he scored those 2 touchdowns. Shout out to Kafka with the play calling because guess what? He dialed up those runs and those plays and the exact same play twice.
And it worked.
Caught and it worked. Caught Chicago completely off guard completely by surprise. How can you be upset? Because he's not putting up 400 or 500 yards like Tua did. What was it, 500 600 yards he put up, or whatever the number was.
Well, he's got the
Yeah,
receivers too. He's got two
yeah,
Shoot.
receivers that nobody could put a hand on, can touch.
exactly.
We got
So
Ricky James and people falling down and I
And
mean
Darius
dropping
the,
everything.
Slayton.
and that's the thing, and that's the thing that I'm saying. It's like if you're going to be so focused on one aspect of this team, which is always going to be Daniel Jones, you're only focused on that. Everything else you're okay with. But your focus is Daniel Jones. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. He's not passing the ball. Well, why is he not doing these things? If you're a real football, if you really watch football, if you really pay attention to the nuances and things that are in the football game, you will see all these things. Receivers are not getting separation. The receivers are falling down. The receivers are dropping passes. The O
Mm-hmm.
line is not pass blocking to to the best of their ability. We still have a right tackle who is a rookie.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is what? Pressured 41% of the pass snaps.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I mean,
I mean, it's obscene.
I just rattled off at least 7, 8 things as the reason why this passing game isn't working the way it is.
And
Would
think
you
of all
get
the reasons
upset?
people were bashing on Daniel Jones. The pocket awareness. He's slowly
Exactly.
improved every year, gotten better. Oh,
Yes.
Daniel Jones can't improvise. He's not an actual mobile quarterback. Well, guess what? This year he's actually taken off and taking yards when he can get them down the field. Everything. Oh, he's not scoring touchdowns or winning games. He's not clutch at all, right? These are things we heard. He has no clutch gene in him at all. Well, he went down to the end of Tennessee, all these games. Yeah, Saquon was a big part of it, but he's doing literally everything all these people criticized him for, and they're just switching up to something else. So
Yeah. You're
honestly,
right.
I'm just that portion of fan base that's like that. I'm beyond it. I'm past it. I'm gonna give the kid a whole year, and hopefully some of our receivers come back healthy and it starts to click. But
Yeah.
I can't. Some of these people I can't take serious anymore at this point because they're
Yeah.
just looking for something.
Yeah, no,
You're
definitely,
absolutely
man. I
right.
mean, you and me both. And again, it's not the entirety of the fan base. I'm not going to act like it is, but you do have a good portion of the fan base that thinks that way. And it, 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 if this team somehow makes it to the playoffs, you are going to have fans upset about that. You're going to have fans upset that the Giants are in the playoffs. You're going to have fans upset that they're winning these games. I don't understand it, but I also don't speak stupid either. So it is what it is.
I got a
But
question for you guys.
to transition, into this week's game, man, talking about Daniel Jones, if he's gonna be in the lineup, man, I mean, I think he's gonna play a factor into winning this game for us. Looking at Green Bay, one thing that they really struggle with right now, they can't stop the run. They
Yep.
cannot stop the run to save their lives. What are the Giants number one in? Running the ball. I've been watching Green Bay. One of my closest friends is a Green Bay Packers fan. I have had multiple conversations with him, and he has stated to me, as well as if you look at Green Bay Packer Twitter, they talk about this offense. They have an offense that has big play potential. When you look at their offense, you look at the plays, there's big play potential. The problem is that they're inconsistent and Aaron Rodgers is not getting on time with their wide receivers. Now, this is going to be the best quarterback that the Giants have faced this season, without a doubt. I'm not saying that Giants fans should think that we're going to go into this game and win it, but it's possible. Weirder things have happened in London. It is very possible. That offensive line is suspect. They have a stout defense. Rashawn Gary's going to be a good test on Evan Neal. Jair Alexander is a top three corner, in my honest opinion. But I mean, this is a team that could be had. I'm sorry. This is a team that can be had. And if I'm looking at this and you can't stop the run, run that damn ball. Give
Yep.
Saquon the rock, man. Them. I just want to say this before I let you guys speak. Them folks in the UK have never seen a talent like Saquon Barkley. They're gonna lose their mind.
You're absolutely right about that. I mean,
I'm
let's look at
sorry, I
this
just had
game.
to
It is
say that. I
yeah,
apologize.
hey, by all means, look, it's stacked against the Giants right now as far as going into this game.
Yeah,
You know, a lot of injuries, a lot of concerns on the offensive side as far as being able to pass the ball, this, that, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. I'm going to give you my real quick take on this. What the Packers are going to do is they've sat there and they've watched our last four games. They're going to key in on what we do best, running the ball. They're going to do everything in their power to try and limit Saquon Barkley from running that ball. Maybe they're not too interested in Daniel Jones because of the injury. Maybe they think in their minds, well, you know what? Maybe he's not going to be taking off like he was. This may be the perfect opportunity if Wandale Robinson and Kadarius Toney are able to play in this game. Because if you take one aspect away, you have one, two, maybe three avenues to go to just in case. And I'm looking at it just from that standpoint, just that standpoint alone. You have to be able to account for not just Saquon Barkley, not just Wandale, not just Kadarius Toney. You're gonna you if Daniel Jones is healthy, now you got four people that you got to account for. Those bootlegs that we were running. I mean, come on now, you putting those defenders in so much conflict. And I love the play designs by Kafka to be able to literally get DJ out there and put these defenders into conflict where they got to choose between either I'm going to go after DJ or if I'm going after that tight end or whatever's going on as far whatever receiver or running back is in the flat there. I got to now pick and choose who. Beautiful play calling. So the Packers is going to have to figure this out. Whatever that they're going to sit there and bring towards, put in front of the Giants as far as who are they going to be keying in on? You got to take full advantage of that. Don't look at it as a detriment. Look at it as a benefit. They're keying in on one guy, but I got all these other guys you're going to have to start being accountable for. You know, that's the way I look at it. Hard nose, and above all, if you know that they can't stop the run, run it down their throats.
facts.
Okay, RPO all day. Give it to Saquon. Stretch it. Zone reads. Whatever the case may be. Make this make that defense respect you enough to where you know what we got to do something to slow this offense down, and we got to get out early. We have to get out early, get in front early, because if you make Aaron Rodgers, pretty much, I mean, he can carve you up. He can carve you up,
Yeah, he can.
but we gotta be really reliant on those cornerbacks and be out there on the island, do your job, and especially that front seven. Get after Aaron Rodgers. Just make his life unbearable back there in that pocket. To the point where it's like, hey, I remember last year when he got hit and his helmet almost came off and he had this look on his face and it was going all around Twitter.
Yeah, they made it a meme.
Make sure that, yep. That meme needs to be permanent on his face. Okay, permanent. Get at him all day, every day. Just don't hold up. Keep that pressure on him and make him make mistakes. Make him uncomfortable in that pocket. To me, those are the keys right there.
Yeah,
I'd
no.
I'd like the Giants to go back and pick up that game plan Dallas had against us and run an offense kind of similar to that. Run, and then timely big shots down the field, off some play actions. So I really would like to see something like that on offense. Obviously, I'd like to see a continuation of what we saw last week. Early on, keep that same game plan if you want, and if it works, it works. But yeah, I'd like to set up a couple deep shots because Aaron Rodgers, even though he's been playing horrible this year, actually QBR worse than Daniel Jones right
Yeah,
now.
it's
So
bad.
that tells you how bad he's playing. Not to crap on Daniel Jones, but we've seen how bad it's been here. So no quarterback with his situation is going to have a high QBR. But yeah, I'd like to see some timely shots. Last time I was talking about Dallas, that we got to get up early. Well, guess what we didn't do? We didn't get up early. And when you play teams like this, like Green Bay, they can run the ball too.
Yeah, they
They
can.
got a quarterback that can you keep him in third and shorts. He can make little dinks and dunks even to his no-name receivers. So keep him third and longs, stuff the box. The way everybody's been just manning up the receivers in Green Bay, they're not great. But when you play man, it's hard to stop the run. So you got to fill up the box. You got to play the risky. You got to play it risky, But it is what it is. Just fill the box, play man, and on offense, run, and just get some timely shots in there. Some smart shots. Pick your spots.
Yeah,
But
no.
that's what I'd like.
Definitely, man. I mean, and look, it's not going to be an easy game. I'm like I said, I'm not telling you guys to expect the Giants to come in and win against Green Bay, but it's possible. It is. I understand. They have Aaron Rodgers. He's a Hall of Fame quarterback. You look at their duos at running back, AJ Dillon, Aaron Jones. I mean, that's a two-headed monster. You got to take account to that. But I think outside of the Dallas game, I mean, the Giants have been pretty solid in stopping the run.
Yeah,
So for me, I respect their game. I mean, you have to respect their game, but knowing that they don't have a Devonte Adams out there no more, I really,
it's huge.
I know you got Lazard. I believe it's Dobbs out there. You also have what's his name? What is it? Christian Watson, I believe.
Yep.
Um, I mean,
And,
none of those
and
players scare me.
Jalen Smith made a huge difference in the run game last week.
He did.
And we just signed AJ Klein too.
Yep.
So, it's starting to fill out pretty nice with some veterans back there compared to where we were in Dallas. We play them again. That might be a completely different game later on in the year.
You're absolutely right. And the thing is, too, is that, credit to your guy, GOS. I mean, Dexter Lawrence has been playing out of his mind. I
Yeah.
mean, with Leonard Williams not being in the lineup right now, I mean, he's been playing out of his mind. And I mean, if he could build off of that game he had against Chicago, which I think he can, I mean, I think that's a difference maker right there on your defensive line, not just in the pass rush, but in the run game as well. And you're absolutely right. Jalen Smith was a difference maker. I thought that he kind of played a part in Tate Crowder having a good game last week.
Yeah. He freed up a lot for him.
He did. And, Jalen Smith, I mean, he's still young. I mean, he looked quick on his feet. I think this is year two of him coming off of that injury that he suffered.
Yep.
There's potential with the kid, and I don't care what no one said. No disrespect to the dude. Any player at this point is an upgrade over Austin Carlito. I'm sorry, man. I
Really
mean, dude
true.
can't tackle. He can't hit his gaps
He
properly.
can't cover either.
He can't
Holy moly.
cover. I mean, Jalen Smith. I mean that. Considering how he played last week in his first look with the Giants in a new defensive scheme, he looked good, man. I mean, I'm really rooting for this kid. And AJ Klein, he's not bad either. Some familiarity there. I'm interested to see where he falls depth wise, but at the linebacker position right now for the Giants, we can't have too much. Cause I mean, outside of Tate Crowder and Jalen Smith, I mean, I'm not really banking on these players at the moment. At the current moment, I'm not. But no, I mean, it's gonna be hard for the Giants. Don't get it twisted. It's gonna be hard for the Giants going against Green Bay. But again, I think that it's possible. I really do think that it's possible. But again, I think at least defensively, if you can get to the quarterback, if you can, really put this man into the ground, even if the ball's already out of his hands, frustrate him. Frustrate Aaron Rodgers. You're not going to be able to completely shut him down, but if you can frustrate him, throw him off of his game, make sure that their timing is off a little bit. I mean, you got a shot at beating this team and run the damn ball. Give the ball to your playmakers. I want to see, I really want to see Saquon just tear a new one into Green Bay this week. I mean that he's a player for me that I'm really looking at in this game, man. But it's gonna be hard. And you look at their secondary too. I mean they got a nice secondary. But again, Giants fans should feel good that we're 3-1 right now. They should feel, that we're making some progress. But again, let's just take this week by week, y'all. But
Hey, and past seasons hit, like when we started playing teams like this, the Packers or Ravens, we were all thinking season's done. We're looking at draft picks.
yeah.
Now it don't matter. Now you can get some moral victories here, if not victories. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And why not? Why not go, win some upset games? I mean, you have people in the media upset, that the Giants are the worst 3-1 team. You have people, outside of the media and, just fans, saying that this is a pretender team. If the Giants win this game, I'm not obviously, again, we've been saying it this episode so far. There's things they're gonna have to play into if they do win this game. But if the Giants win this game and they go 4-1, I mean, what do you have to say at that point? Like, what
you got
can
to take
you
them
say
serious.
at that point? I mean, you go, you beat Aaron Rodgers, you beat Ryan Tannehill. I understand it's Baker Mayfield, but they still had a stout defense, and you have a healthy Christian McCaffrey over there. I mean, at some point, you got to respect this team. Now, obviously, let's see how things play out. But I'm just saying, man, I'm getting a little tired of the disrespect that this team is getting, especially since we're winning now, and it seems to be upsetting people. But
I've seen some people give a little bit of respect, at least acknowledging that we're a tough, gritty team. But
yeah, exactly. I mean, players
people are
like
slowly coming
AT.
around. But listen, I'm a little bit older. Back in 2000, I heard this same exact stuff, and that team wasn't expected to really do anything either. We ended up getting 24. We were the number one seed in the NFC the year we went and lost to the Ravens. But we heard the same stuff in that NFC Championship game. We whooped Minnesota 41-0.
Yeah.
And even after that game, people were still saying we were the worst number one seed in NFL history. So this is just what they do. This is what they do here.
And we're winning games in Giants fashion. I mean,
Yep.
we are strong defense, nice run attack. I mean, it's not the prettiest, but at the end of the day, a win is a win. You're not going to hear me complain as long as we get the dub. But, we're going to call that an episode here, man. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Let us know your thoughts below, whether that's on Jones getting the nod for London, whether that's the injury report, or our takes about the Green Bay Packers game in London. There was a lot to talk about today. We appreciate you guys for listening. Again, subscribe to Giant Opinion Sports, subscribe to the Big Blue Corner as well as Hit Squad Productions, and we will see you guys in the next video.